All right, today we're going to unpack a really fascinating story from the wild world of e-commerce. We're talking about a company called LightInTheBox and how they pulled off an absolutely massive business turnaround. And their secret sauce? Well, it's this really cool mix of genuine human emotion and the super efficient logic of artificial intelligence.
First things first, just get a load of these numbers. This slide basically tells you everything you need to know. In 2024, the company was in the red, losing $2.5 million. But just 1 year later, bam, they swung all the way to a positive net income of over $8 million. That is a huge reversal. So the big question is, how in the world did they pull that off?
So to really appreciate the comeback, you got to understand the hole they were in. The e-commerce world is brutal. It's crowded, it's competitive, and they were really struggling to find their place and, more importantly, to make any money. Their solution wasn't just some small change. No, they did a complete 180 on their whole strategy. They called it the lifestyle pivot, and it was all about changing their focus from just, selling stuff to actually connecting with people.
So what on earth does it mean to be a consumer lifestyle company? Well, think about it like this. It's moving past the basics. You're not just selling a dress, you're selling the feeling of confidence you get at a party. You're not just selling some decorations, you're selling the joy of celebrating a holiday. It's all about tapping into how your customers feel, not just what they need.
And their CEO, Jian He, just hit the nail on the head with this quote. The goal was to create deep emotional resonance. They knew that in a marketplace filled with a million similar products, the only way to really stand out and get better prices was to build a real emotional connection with their customers.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty good, right? But talk is cheap. Did this whole emotion-based strategy actually make them any money? Let's take a look at the results and see this turnaround in black and white. First up, this number is just staggering. Their own in-house apparel brands, they grew by an incredible 143% in 1 year. This is proof positive that people were really buying into their new emotionally driven products.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. It wasn't just about selling more. It was about selling smarter. They hit a 65% gross margin, which is the best they've ever had since going public. By selling these unique lifestyle products, they weren't stuck in a race to the bottom on price anymore. They could actually charge a premium. And it all comes together right here. We're back to that $8.3 million profit we saw at the beginning. This is the bottom line, undeniable proof that their big pivot from function to feeling totally worked.
So how exactly did they do it? Well, this wasn't just some vague, fluffy idea. They had a really clever two-pronged strategy that combined this new focus on emotion with the hardcore efficiency of AI to make it all work.
So here's the game plan. First, they totally revamped their main website to be all about those big moments, holidays, parties, special occasions. Then, they launched their own brands aimed squarely at women over 30. And this wasn't just a guess. They used AI to crunch all the data on buying habits and social trends to figure out exactly which styles would connect with that audience.
And you can see just how well that data-driven plan worked right here. Those new brands they launched went from just a tiny 6% of their revenue in 2024 to a really significant 17% in 2025. This was a massive driver of their growth and those juicy higher margins. So we've seen how the emotion part of the plan paid off big time, but the efficiency side of things was just as important. And that was all being powered by that same AI engine humming away in the background.
Okay, and this part is absolutely crucial. While the side of the business customers saw was all about human connection, the operational side was an automation powerhouse. They used AI for pretty much everything, and the result was what they call workforce optimization of 58%. In plain English, they automated so much stuff they could run the whole company with way fewer people, which drastically cut their costs and sent their profits through the roof.
So after pulling off this incredible turnaround, the big question now is, what's next? Can they keep this momentum going?
Well, if you ask management, they're feeling pretty optimistic. Based on how well this new model is working, they've said publicly that they are confident they can keep growing both their sales and their profits into next year.
And here's one last interesting little fact for you. About 70% of the company is owned by the insiders and directors, the people actually running the show. That is a huge number, and it tells you they have a ton of skin in the game. They really believe in their own strategy.
Which kind of leaves us with this final, fascinating question. The whole LightInTheBox story is a bit of a paradox, right? They used this hyper-efficient, cold, logical AI to supercharge their business, but their winning strategy was all about selling human emotion. It really makes you wonder,
In this new age of AI, is the ultimate key to success still just about being human?